do you mean it bothered you that you couldn't understand?
Because there was they wouldn't talk to me like me and you were talking,
Right.
unless they found something that they wanted to tell me or show me, or they was trying to ask me a question.
Right.
And as far as the telepathy goes, I'm thinking it has to do with some kind of implant.
Yeah.
And I think it doesn't. It's not a. I don't think it's a telepathy like hearing you talk to me like you are right now. I think that somehow or another it might be reading your emotions and your body language and everything else and your thoughts and everything, and they interpret it, because when they do that with me, they get things wrong.
Right.
And if they can speak English, we can communicate a lot better.
So not all of them can speak English, but you say that seems to be some kind of universal language.
Right, the English, because I hear them all speaking English all the time to each other. In some languages I don't even know. Some of them sounds like grunting and groaning. Like there's a species there that look like a reptilian or frog-looking kind of guy that's built like a silverback ape, with the longer arms and the shorter legs.
Right.
And they speak English, but I also see them like it was grunting and groaning to each other.
Really? Wow. This is amazing. Oh, so this information that you're telling me about here, that you're telling all of us today, what is this information? You say that they don't always communicate with you when you want to, but sometimes they do give you information, and I know that some of that information has to do with the future of humanity, and I know you don't want to disclose a lot. There are some things you're not going to disclose just because you're going to let them out on your own time, but is there anything you can tell us about what you have discovered or what they've told you about the future of humanity?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you that the human species will never be totally extinct. I can say that.
Really?
Because we're too important to them.
Really?
If we was worth more dead, we would be dead. But we're worth more alive. I've seen things that they might have a role playing in our existence, but they never told me that personally. But I just see things that they're like a Type 2 civilization, or a Type 1 moving into a Type 2 civilization. They showed me things that's already happened. They would tell me things about like what my kids would be doing or what things are about to happen in my life. Okay. And they all come true. My kids would hate it because I would know what they was doing. My daughter used to cuss them because of it. And I think we got some very challenging times heading for us. So very challenging times, but one thing's for sure, we'll never be totally extinct.
So I don't want to push too hard, but are you talking about some kind of challenging times ahead that has something to do with them?
Challenging times that has to do with humanity itself. We're making a transition ourselves into from a Type 0 civilization to a Type 1, and we got a lot of learning to do. I mean, they're not here to help us, but I'm thinking they're here to watch it all happen. Okay. They find a lot of things interesting that we do, and they know they're going to happen before they happen. So it tells me that either they have time travel or it's pre-planned. I don't know.
Wow. Okay, now I'm not letting the cat out of the bag by saying this, but you said there seems to be something big that's going to be happening within the next, you estimate, maybe 18 years.
Yeah.
Is this what you're talking?
It is a possibility that there's a possibility that a lot of life might be wiped out by that time. But I would worry more about the things that before then, with wars and stuff like that. They've even showed me what was going on in war during over in Iraq when we, because I was visiting them, or they was visiting me at that time when the Iraq war was going on.
Really?
They were showing me things that they don't tell you on the news. So,
Wow.
And people that was surrendering and was still getting killed. So,
Huh. Yeah, well, I can believe that. That makes sense. It's a pretty crooked system we're in, if you ask me. Now, you said that your sister said she's had experiences and you've had experiences, and apparently your brothers had experience too. It seems to be a family thing. Have you ever been given any indication, or do you have any information that your immediate family is involved in this too, like your son?
oh yeah, he has. He has his visitations still to this day. He doesn't live with me anymore. He's grown up, moved out, and
Right.
he still has visitations. And my daughter does. She's living in Texas, and she still has her visitations as well. And we all have them within the same time frame.
Wow.
And,
Okay.
we'll call each other up and we'll talk about it, or what we seen and what we heard. So.
Does it go?
My daughter still doesn't like the situation. My son just he's taking it, for what it is. You get used to it. When they don't show up, it's like having an automobile. You get used to these things. You get up every morning and you get in the automobile and you drive up to the store, or you drive to work. You get used to your car out there. And when you had this going on in your life for so long, you get used to it. So we can freely talk about it a little bit more. It's like, but when it was first going on, everybody was afraid to say what it was.
Yeah.
It's like, but now it's like we know for sure what it is, so we could talk about it a little bit more.
Right.
And my son's tried to talk to some of his friends about it, and some of them find it fascinating, but it's always hard to swallow. And
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, if this is really going on, then why you? Or, well, first of all, we really don't know. And then I have some people that come into my life and that I talk to, psychics and stuff, and they're telling me, well, you invited these guys into your life.
Right.
Okay, how in the world did I do that?
Yeah.
And then some people just think I'm hallucinating, even though I got video footage of them. It's like they don't, and some people don't even want to look at it. And this isn't for everybody.
No.
And I don't even call it paranormal anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I go to work and I meet new people all the time, and and I met these guys. I meet all kinds of different of these guys, and it doesn't. It's not paranormal. They're actually living beings that's around us all the damn time. So
Yeah.
and
Wow.
I don't have no. I can't summon them up. I can't wave a magic wand or do some kind of seance to bring them up here. They show up when they want to show up. I have no control over it.
Okay. So do you know if this goes farther back into your family line, like maybe your father or your grandfather? Have you heard stories about your family's line?
Well, we looked as far back into the past as we could. My family, they talked about ghosts and stuff like that. Ghost experiences, but I think that some of these ghost experiences that people who are experiencing it just might be these guys.
Right. Right. This isn't the
Because
first.
I see a lot of similarities, because I was thinking it was poltergeist as well.
Yeah. Have you heard of Stan Romanek?
And Romanek.
Well, he's a guy in the Midwest of America who says that there's a direct connection between paranormal activities and the ET phenomenon, because he's an alien abductee as well, and he's claiming the same sort of thing that you are, that unexplained kind of paranormal activity goes hand in hand with this extraterrestrial phenomenon. I think that's fascinating.
Right. Well, I see a lot of things that I would just love to, shake people on and says, hey, you might want to take a second look at it might not be ghosts because, like I said, they almost had me convinced it was ghosts, and they was trying to convince me that it was ghosts.
Yeah.
Not people, but the entities themselves were trying to convince me that it was ghosts. They wore masks. It was transparent. They would move things around. They would throw things at me when I would get them upset. Everything that in the cold draft, the cold draft would happen when the porthole or Stargate would open up. They don't like candles. They don't like fire. They consider it very dangerous. I mean, they really don't like fire. Right. They're like paranoid over it. Let's see, they almost had me convinced it was ghosts, and I didn't believe in ghosts. Okay, I believe, you die, that was it. Now I'm not sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
after meeting these guys, there's something more to it. There's a bigger picture, and if anybody ever says that they know everything about what's going on, they're lying, because I spent a lot of time with these guys, and I still don't know everything that's going on, although I have my answers. And if I walked away from this today, I would be totally satisfied that I got my answers. So I'm not trying to convince the world that this is going on, but just come and spend a year with me. I'll have you walking out of here a believer. Okay. So,
be careful what you put out there. You might have some people jumping on board with that.
All right, bring your cameras.
Yeah.
And we'll set you up a room, and you might have that, and it could be months before they show back up. But I've introduced this to one of my buddies, and this guy, you wouldn't think he was afraid of anything, because he was, he's not scared to fight. He's a big, tough guy, tattooed up. I had him crying when I introduced him to these guys.
Right.
And he touched them, he interacted with them. This was the thing is the very next morning is he slept on the couch at night. Yeah. And I got him up, and I says, what did you think about that last night? And he said up on the couch, he says, David, you power suggested me to see that. Yeah. It's tough to, I understood what he was cutting at, but it kind of made me mad that he said that, because I'm thinking, how in the world could I do something like that? How could I power suggest you to touch and interact with them like you did, and you tell me I power suggested you? Right. That kind of upsetted me, but he had a tough time dealing with it after that. I mean, it's like he changed.
Yeah.
So
I would imagine so. And he's no longer with us, though, is he?
No, he was one of my friends, a real close friend. As a matter of fact, he was one of the first people I met when I came to Florida. Okay. And we was friends for over 25 years or so. And he was his house blew up. Not too long after that, like only a couple months. He was had one of his gas heaters in his living room, and he was sleeping on the couch. And I mean, it leveled the house.
Wow.
And,
yeah, sorry for your loss, David.
It was a little tough for me that happened, but I also have another buddy who he's still alive, and the other buddy that's living in Gulf Breeze, that we experienced what we did out in the woods. Okay. I did a hypnotic regression under that about 12 years after it happened. People talked me into doing it, and everybody, well, what did you remember? Well, everything I remember seeing. It's like everything I got to relive it through my own eyes, not as a bystander, looking at it like a movie, but I got to relive it through my whole eyes again. It was pretty cool. Right. But did I learn anything new from? No, because after 12 years, you start doubting yourself, what you saw, and then when I did the hypnotic regression, it was like reliving it. It never really went away, but you just start doubting what you see after a while, because you start getting brainwashed. It's like, oh, that couldn't happen, or ETs don't exist. Well, I'm not even sure if these guys are ETs or they're dimensional. It's like, it's hard for me to call them an extraterrestrial, because one of my last visitations that they came,